What's going on, world? This is American Pimp Star 420. Jose Cantone. I wanted to do a recording while I was fresh on my brain. Um, it's about this cat I bumped into on the 28th of August, 2022. It was on a Sunday on the beach in Seaside. Um, I had just done a set. I've just done one of my sets. Um, and I finished up and put everything back in my bag and walked out to the beach to toke up. I had a half a blunt, a half a mini cigarello left, and a 3 pack. Not left, but two. I just opened it. I rolled one, and I had two that was still had tobacco in them. So when I rolled it up, I went around the corner from the grocery store and smoked. Rolled up and smoked half, and then I put it back in the thing and went to the beach. And right when I got to the right when I got there, people were just looking at me. They were just kind of, you know, it was people around and stuff like that, but they were looking at me. And then this one dude, before I was going out to trying to get out to the water, leaving the ocean front, and he was looking at me like, he was just like, he was like an older dude with his wife or something, like some 60-year-old cat with gray hair, like they were on vacation or something. But he was looking at me like he just was caught in a stare. He was in a gaze. He had a gaze going, and um, and so I was like, I had came out to the beach to perform, but I was gonna go out there and relax and smoke first, and then I had seen him. I seen the dude looking at me. This is not the guy I'm talking about, but this was another dude. This is an older guy. Like I was saying, he was looking at me like, "Where you going?" You know what I'm saying? I was like, and then so I was like, "Damn." I was like, "Well, I guess I'll do the show now." you know, I took that to mean that for myself. Being a performer and a recording artist. So I was like, I actually said that out loud. I was like, okay, well, shit, I guess I'll do it now. And I turned around and I went back up to the ocean front. I got off the beach and went up to the walk to the what's that shit called? The there's something walk. I know on the river it's the river walk, but on the beach, um, it's something I forgot. But I went back up to that structure and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just sing real quick, because I really wanted to smoke, So I just pulled the mic out and I just started, uh, I started, I put some music on. I was, what did I play first? I forgot. I just was like half-ass doing it, you know what I'm saying? I was just like with the mic and wandering around a little bit. And then I started to learn after I started singing for a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, let me get out the main spot and let me pick this area here. So it's kind of like the dude was like encoring me or begging me to sing, and like first. And I was like, well, okay, I don't have to smoke right away, you know what I'm saying? So even though I wanted to, but yeah, so I put some music on and started singing. And then I found me a little corner after the first like one song. I went and found me like a good performing corner. And then I pulled the rest of my gear out and put my little pickle jar with my little sign on the jar telling you how to reach me on YouTube and stuff. And my little cardboard outside the jar, um, like saying thank you and stuff for passing by and all that. And um, So I did the songs, and I felt more at liberty to cuss in some of the songs. Like even though it was kids around, I was like, I felt like I was in a package, like I could cuss, not outright, but like they wasn't really listening. You feel me? They were just like seeing some guy on a mic, you know what I'm saying? And they knew I was singing, you know what I'm saying? So it was like they wasn't really listening to my cuss words, no way, or to the lyrics, if it was it or shit, you know what I'm saying? It was run amok or fuck, they wouldn't really care, And they might be like, did he cuss? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I felt like I was a song on the radio, so it was like it was gonna be over in a minute anyway. And as long as I wasn't like, girl, come do this to me and do that. When I see you, I'm gonna do this and do your legs like that, and then I'm gonna bend you over and do that. As long as I wasn't making it like obvious and explicit, you know what I'm saying? It was cool if I had a cuss word in there every now and then, you know what I'm saying? That's something I learned because I used to just try to not cuss all the time, and so much to the point to where I would kind of like break up the flow of the song, you know what I'm saying? So I hadn't really learned how to do that yet, but so yeah, I was cussing this time to where it didn't interrupt the flow. So nonetheless, I performed that, and then that was cool. That took about 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and I put everything back in the bag, and I went down to the beach now again, you know. And the only reason I came back because I look in that guy's eyes. So I went back down there after I sang, and I went to the water, and it was kids. And again, thank the Lord, and I want to thank the Lord on this too. And I know I'm gonna bless the young brother for this too. And thank you, Father. And I was just a blessing for some weird reason. I don't understand why, but He blessed me too. Um, uh, so thank you, Lord. And I'm glad that there's a God, and I want to say that on this too. It's like, at points when we do well, we think, I'm doing well, or like a good thing I caught that one, or I paid attention then. It's like pat me on the back. And then we do that so much, and then it's like we see other people, and it's like I'm better than you. You know what I'm saying? Because I've got away with this, or been able to do that. And it's really all. If you look at yourself when you're a baby, you can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You just were born. So it's like you're born into something. You didn't create that shit you were born into. I mean, that's that right there is a great base to examine when it comes to achievements and successes and things you think you're pulling off. It's like you really just that moment of you being born is just recreating itself over and over again every day, and you just change in form. You know, like at first you were like little and wan, and that's how you were affecting the world. Now and then you were 4 feet and you were talking talking and moving around and affecting the world like that. So I'm just, you know, that person achieving things is just they just getting blindsided by the thrill of living, and being in their body and things coming to them, you know what I'm saying, or not. The same thing happened when you were born, you seen all these people around you, and you felt special, you know what I'm saying? You're a baby, so a bunch of people kept coming around you and touching you and loving on you, you know what I'm saying? So you felt all the attention and love. So it's like, that don't happen today, you know what I'm saying? That didn't happen when you're older, you know, when you're in a different form, a bigger form, people don't just flood you and like, oh, you know. So, um, so I just want to that just goes to show that we were born into something, and then we're gonna leave something. A lot of people don't want to die, and they try to stop dying. Like maybe we tried to stop being born, but it happened, and we're gonna die. We were born, so it's like, the more our forms change, um, the different the experience is. You know, when you were shorter, you couldn't reach shit. Now you got taller, now you dunking. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just a different experience. Same person but different form, and that's part of God's grace. And thank you, Lord. So I just want to say thank God for that, and that we're not just out here freestyling. We're not just out here being like, oh, well, I couldn't dunk, now I dunked. Okay, I didn't win any basketball games yet. I kept playing and playing, and then I won. All right. I didn't never win no tournament. I kept playing and beating people, and then I kept being beat by the top dog, and then the third year, year after year, I finally beat them. Now I'm the champ. So it's like, um, you know, uh, uh, that was to say something, but I'm sitting in the dark, man. I just took a big blast, so like, which is a good thing. Um, but I'm just saying I forgot why I was connecting that point to. Nonetheless, so I head back down to uh, the water, and I was looking for a spot to smoke. I go all the way to the water, and the beach is crowded. It's full of people. It's not like I said. It's about it's not shoulder to shoulder party shit, elbow to elbow shit like that, like some summer plaza party bullshit on the beach. But it was like, how could I? It was like downtown, like a crowded downtown, like it was space and shit, but it was like mad people around. So not mad people, but it was like it was a few people. So it was like little kids around with their parents and shit. But I felt like normally I wouldn't smoke in that scenario. But then again, like I was saying to the point, I felt like I was in a package. I felt like I was the rapper. And now looking back, now I see clearly that's what my feeling was. I felt some type of privilege, like I felt like I just performed, and then they seen YouTube, or YouTube down there fucking smoking a joint on the beach after he performed type of shit. So I felt like it was cool. I didn't think that then, but I see like that's how I felt. That's the feeling I'm trying to describe. I felt like I was, it was, I felt like it was part of my life, you know, like, and everyone knew it, and it was okay. And they wouldn't do it, and then they couldn't do it, but they seen from me that I sang, and then now I'm smoking a joint. You know, it's cool, and I'm cool. So type of crap. So, but nonetheless, so I'm down there, and I wouldn't normally do it, but I see little kids around. I'm like, a vibe comes to me, the spirit of truth, and it's like the Holy Spirit hits me. He says it's okay, just like when I was cussing with music. You know, I was like, damn, I don't want to light this weed up. It's little kids around here. I wouldn't normally do that shit, but the spirit was like, it's okay for you. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna fucking smoke this shit. I am outside. You feel me? And you can't even, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't, you might catch a whiff, but it's not offensive. But nonetheless, I lit it up. So I start smoking. Let me see where I'm at on the time. Probably about 15. Uh, yep, 14. Like, so I start smoking, and the homie I'm talking about, his motherfuckers, excuse me, the cat sounded just like a cop, man. He was like, are you smoking weed? He's like, is that weed you smoking? He said that, is that weed you smoking? And you could tell he was like, he reminded me of Lawrence, man, my little brother Lawrence, my younger brother. And cause he was strong, but he was younger. So he was like, you smoking weed? He was like, is that weed you smoking? He said that shit like a cop. And I was like, fuck, in my mind, because earlier, earlier that day, I had I woke up to the police shit. I was not really, but I woke up and I got my clothes on and went about my day. I left the house and I went outside and I left. I didn't leave the neighborhood. I went to like a lounge area in the neighborhood where it's like a bench and shit. And so I go and sit there and I called my brother on the phone. I called Chris so we could chat, and because like I don't never do that, so I had time. It was Sunday, and I was like, let me call him. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna call Chris and I'm gonna roll up this weed, this blunt that I had from last night. One of them left over uh, the other night. So I sit down. I call Chris. We start talking. I roll the weed up. I roll it and I light it and I smoke it. I smoke it and smoke it. And then, it goes out every now and then because I want to talk and I don't want to smoke no more, so it goes out. So thank God, I'm talking at this point, and here come the rollers rolling up on me. And I'm like, shit. I tell Chris, I'm like, man, I said, here come the police, man. Let me see what they want. And I was like, you stay on the phone though, but let me just. That's what's happening. So I threw all the shit in the bag. I threw the weed in there, threw the fucking, and then once I got up, I realized I was sitting on the damn cigar wrapper, and I was like, shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I hope he didn't see that. It ain't coming to crash me. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, so he got out the car and he was like, you're Jose, right? Jose Leal, right? L-E, and he was running my name with his with his thing on his walkie-talkie, and I was like, shit. I was like, I might have a warrant, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I actually might have one of them motherfuckers, but I was like, shit, let me get out of here. You feel me? I was trying to distract him. I was like, Chris, you still on the phone? I mean, when the officer came up, I was like, hey, how you doing? He was like, hey, I was like, yeah, I'm just, how you doing? I was like, I was just on the phone with my brother about to leave. And and then I got up and got together, and he asked me my name, and I was like, Chris, you still there? And Chris was like, yeah, I'm still here on the phone. So I was like, let's good. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that threw him off too. I was like, all right, man, well, I'm about to go. I was like, it's okay if I go? He was like, yeah, or whatever. I did, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go. He was like, okay. And then he said while he was there, I'm looking for such and such people. It's not you though, but I just stopped here. That was his excuse, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. But he let me go. He was like, have a nice day. I was like, all right, you too. And I walked down the street and I fucking cut in a corner and behind a building and I hid, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew it was just a matter of time, you know, before they was like, he does or he don't, you know. But while I was hiding, I thought I heard him, but nonetheless, I ended up getting away, obviously. Um, so um, the cat on the beach. Uh, is that weed? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit. So I fucking stopped smoking the shit immediately and started putting it out. You feel me with my fingers. And then he asked again. He was like, "Is that weed you smoking?" And I was like, "You know how they be doing? The cops be doing that. They ask you again, like, I'm the authority. Answer me." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Shit." So I was like, before I play this motherfucker's game, let me put it in my pocket. So I put the weed in my pocket, and then I turned around, and I was like, yes. No, I was like, I turned around, and I seen it wasn't the police. I was like, yeah, some weed, what's up? And then he was like, can I hit it? Can I smoke some with you? And he was like, I'm about to go in the box, go in the box and be locked away. you know, uh, go to jail or whatnot, for X amount of years, and I already served this many years. He was saying, and, and he was like, I would appreciate a toke. Basically that was his meaning for what I'm facing right now. So I was like, all right, saying? So I pulled the weed out and started lighting it, and then we started smoking, and I told him he sounded like a cop, and uh, and then I was like, uh, so I seen he had something on his mind or whatever. So we started walking, and I was like, all right, I said, I guess I'm gonna just head back up here. And he was like, can I walk back up there with you? And I was like, yeah, come on. He was like straight up in a state of panic. You feel me? But like it was a silent panic. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I need help. You know what I'm saying? Damn, man. And I was like, yeah, come on, come walk with me. You know what I'm saying? We started smoking the weed and shit, walking. Went back up, and and then we got so low, and I was like, keep it. He was like, cool, and then we started smoking. Then he was like, all right, man, you have a good day. He was parting ways. You know what I'm saying? He wanted the weed, wanted to walk up, and the weed was gone. We chatted, and it was it. Uh, but the meaning is at that point I felt myself like grasping on to anything I could help him, anything I could help him with, like anything I could say, you know what I mean, any word of advice or anything, um, and I just felt like I couldn't free him from jail, I couldn't stop him from going, and my little brother Lawrence, he's in jail now, and and so I felt like I was useless to a degree. You know what I'm saying? I was like, and so, but looking back, as we was walking up and we was parting ways, I was telling them like, hey, keep your head up, and I was like, you know, always try to help people. You know what I'm saying? Uh, 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 just anything. I was digging, as we were smoking and walking. And that's why I'm making this recording is because it's to show at that time that I felt I was desperate to help. And hours later, many hours later, after I came back home and went to sleep and woke up and smoked a little bit, then that experience popped into my mind again, and it was like, well, what, and then that feeling of desperation of trying to help and feeling useless. And then that coin flipped, and I seen that that was the miracle right there. That was the miracle that me and him, and you're gonna get it. You're gonna see when I start saying it, but that me and this cat had met on a beach full of people and shared a conversation and went about our own life. Probably never see him again, ever. Never seen him before, ever. 43. Now I've seen him for a few minutes. Shared some weed. Bye for life. That was the miracle right there that we met, that we had, that we touched. You feel me? We got to see and high five in this point in time. In the year 2022. As we was walking up, I was like, where you from? And we was talking a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I was trying to loosen them up. And I was like, yeah, I was born in Houston. I was like, where were you born? And he was like, oh, I was born in, and then he was like, well, I don't really know, And he was like, cause I was adopted. He said it was like I came out the foster thing. And he was like, so I don't really know where I was born, man. That shit's heavy, man. Like this man, you know he come from something, but he don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like for somebody not to know their mother and father, we in the times of the adoption of the sexual revolution to where you know a man is meeting a woman and her daughter and he's sleeping with both of them. That because the dad figure is not there. Because the family structure is not there anymore because people don't know who their parents are. That's what I'm trying to say. People don't know who their parents are. This young man didn't even know where he was born. I'm sure I don't know something out there that's important to they kin, to me. So, when he was born, it was people surrounding him happy. He was a baby when he was little. It was people around him that knew him, teaching him how to pee, teaching him how to dress himself. You know what I'm saying? It was people. It was people around him feeding him, asking him did he want something to drink. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it was people giving him things, liking him as his friend. You know what I'm saying? People like having crushes on him. You know what I'm saying? You know, people that met him wanted to meet him again, could never find him, never met him again. He moved. He had a whole life before we met. So, you know, in that instant, you know what I'm saying? And so have I. Now that I'm seeing the Lord showing me. So he said, so have you, Jose. So me, in my 43 years of being born in Texas, going to Kentucky, going back to Texas, going to Chicago, going to Tennessee, coming out here, being in the street, doing mushrooms, doing some mushrooms, smoking pot, traveling, uh, performing. All that experience met this cat, and his name was Sticks. Yeah. And I was like the weed, I remember, like the Sticks joints. And he was like, not really, you know what I'm saying? But so I wanted to get his name because I wanted to help him. You feel me? And I knew I could probably pray. I knew I could definitely help him later by praying. So and now y'all can pray too. So that was a miracle, So even there at the moment, I felt the feeling of being desperate, to help this young man escape, to be free, to escape the jail, and to be free. But uh, because I couldn't do that, because I didn't feel like I could do that, you know, I, we were still together, what I'm saying? I was still talking to him, and then we parted ways, and I was like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, man, like, damn, like, good luck, or like, you got this, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so, the mirror, that everything I am met everything he was at that point, so, you know, I mean, if he does get free, if he, if he, if he, if he wakes up the next day and he feels the best that he's ever felt, and he's like, damn, I'm glad I met Cat, you know what I'm saying, and smoked. So it's like, hold on, I think I hear some shit. Hold on. All right, cool. I had to pause it. I was trying to pay attention to my surroundings. I was like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah. So that was a miracle that the dude and I actually met, and that people people from his past that he left. You feel me? You know that he mattered to. He mattered to him. They thinking about him. They missing this dude and wishing the best for him. And then me and this dude meet up and start chatting and smoke. So it's like, this was our time to talk. You feel me? This was our time. He was an orphan, this and that, and he was like, telling me, and I was like, okay. We never talked about what happened or nothing like that because we didn't even talked that long, like 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 5 minutes maybe. But yeah, just want to say that. So all right, this is American Pimp Star 420, and it just shows me that the moment, like that was a blessing. You know what I'm saying? That was a blessing that like he had already went to jail, and then he got out, and then we talked. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he was free in that moment. We was on the beach. It was a good thing. I was singing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure I was probably. That's what I was thinking earlier. I was a beacon. He might have heard me singing, making some noise, and was like, see me. You know what I'm saying? And then see me down there, and it was like weed, and it was like, oh, is that weed? Whatever. So I'm sure I was inspirational on some level. So, all right, man, I'm gonna get off here. All right, y'all have a good one. And this is Jose Kins, always loyal, checking in. More, more from some reflections on life, and I guess this one is just about, um, you want to do all you can, but you actually are doing all you can. And so that's the message. I wanted to do all I could, and he wanted to do all he could. I'm sure, and he was, and I was doing all I could, and that's what we have to be okay with the reality, of our total existence, you know. But all right, I'm not disappointed anymore. There we go. I don't feel disappointed. I feel satisfied. I feel like I did what God put me there to do. And he got some weed, what I'm saying? He got some good word, and that was it, you know? Well, all right. Uh, no more disappointment. So it's turned around to satisfaction from a feeling of acceptance. From that reality. All right, I'm going to go ahead and think about some more things, but I can see that the moment is one thing, and then reflecting on it's another. So it's always a good thing that it's just everything is just all good. That's what I was saying. I'm just glad there's a savior. I'm glad there's a truth. There's an ultimate reality to things, and it's not just frayed and wild and all who's on top now. You know what I'm saying? So you can always find the truth. You can always stick to it, and you can always become more of it in the moment. But it's all fate anyway, because God's already got a plan for you, and you just growing through this experience. Like I'm really like a baby every day, just in a different form. Able to do different things. So I'm just grateful, man. Just be grateful. And if you're listening to this, anybody or the cat, just be grateful every day. And that attitude will cultivate more sticking to the truth, And that's what it's about. Being one with this ultimate reality, with Christ, with Jesus, with God, with your brothers, with the world, being grateful for it all and just sharing that ultimate unity of understanding that, hey, I'm grateful and so is this cat, this other cat's grateful, and hey, the whole world is in a state of appreciation and grace and just happy, for life. Like on some We Are the World vibe, you know what I mean? So, so I'm glad that that's a fucking reality, man. And it's not just no created shit that somebody's just like, oh, well, let's just be nice. No, no, that's how it was written. You know what I'm saying? And that's great. That's the saving grace that there's some bottom line to this life, and that's amazing, So uh, be kind, and there's a kingdom. Well, all right, man. I just want to say, I know there's more to it here, but I'm gonna take a break and just highlight that I don't have that feeling of that I didn't do this or I wasn't able to do that. After review, I feel like I'm just grateful that we got to get that energy going, and I felt like a counselor a little bit, that I was able to give him a pep talk, and he could take on his challenge with that energy, and I could have helped him in that moment. So, all right, more later, peace.